The Browns. I don't know what to make of them for the playoffs. I don't know what to make of what I saw yesterday because it was the Browns depleted to a certain extent by COVID-19 reserve against a Steelers JV team. And it went back and forth, and it was down to the wire, and it was still in doubt until the very end when Baker Mayfield ran for a first down on 3rd and 1. 24-22 was the final score. Let's hear from Baker Mayfield on clinching the first playoff berth for the Cleveland Browns since 2002.
The feeling of walking off the field, the energy in the stadium, they're playing Cleveland Rocks. There's an old school video going on, and I can look up and see old school highlights of, we got Brian Sipe, Bernie Kosar, some old schoolers on there. It's just, and for it to be that loud with a limited amount of fans, it's a special moment for us.
A limited amount of fans can make a ton of noise. They're going to be going into an arena on Sunday night with no fans in Pittsburgh, and that's going to be a challenge for both teams. In the postseason, though, it should be a lot easier to find your energy, especially with a couple of division rivals going at it, Chris. But to get it done, to get in, there was some doubt going into Week 17. There was a lot of fear from Browns fans that when it all fell apart, it was going to be them on the outside looking in. But, 18 years, Browns fans deserve it. And the question now is it just enough to get back? Right? Is next year the year that you advance a round or two, or can they find a way to beat the Steelers in Pittsburgh after getting blown out there earlier this year? It's going to be a compelling question as the week unfolds, but at least for now, Browns fans, just take a breath and enjoy the fact that 18 years is over and you get to enjoy being back in the playoffs. That feeling of anything can happen, that's a great feeling during the weeks of the playoffs. Anything can happen until that next game starts.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, how can you not be proud of, what Kevin Stefanski's done, Baker Mayfield, the transformation he had in his game throughout the season. I mean, it's been fun to watch. I mean, Cleveland, you're on the right path. You really are. Everything's going in the right direction, and who knows what happens next week. You're certainly capable of beating the Pittsburgh Steelers. I got like a few Browns friends who text me, and they're like, wow, I mean, if we couldn't beat them yesterday more convincingly, how are we going to beat them when, they're back at full strength? I understand that thought. But it's a weird week altogether. One, hey, there is the pressure of, oh, man, we got to get in the playoffs and play. The Steelers, on the other hand, are totally free and can just not even worry about it. There is something to that, in a football game to where one team can go out and just be free and let it go. The other team, yeah, their butthole's tight, and they don't want to make a big mistake. Sorry. Yeah, welcome. You said poop this morning. I said that. Hello. Welcome to Monday morning. All right. So now you get to that, and then let alone all the damn issues they had to deal with this week. I mean, they didn't get the full week of practice, and meetings were weird. They had a COVID-19, conversation every 20 minutes there in Cleveland. So it wasn't an easy week, and of course they were missing players. So it's not apples to apples just because the Steelers weren't at full strength that this is going to be a blowout for the Steelers this week. I don't buy that. I think it'll be a different game and a different intensity, and the Browns will approach it differently too.
Good to see we're already working on the highlight reel for 2021 now that we
Get
have
started
the highlight
early.
reel for 2020. May as well get that 2 minutes and 20 seconds in the bank as quickly as we can. The COVID issue was real, and yesterday morning, I started to see the perfunctory tweets that all games are on, all games are on. I started to poke around a little bit. The Browns-Steelers game was still kind of up in the air. They were doing morning testing of Browns players to make sure they were able to go forward, that they weren't in the midst of an outbreak. They had believed all week that they weren't, but they still wanted that last all clear. But they got it in, they got it done, and they were depleted. And hopefully by next weekend, they won't be depleted. One of the risks of playing football games, and it's not being on the field, it's being on the sideline, it's being in the locker room. That is the most dangerous day of the week as it relates to the pandemic. And as we see the numbers continuing to go up and up and up in the communities, and as we see more and more players catching it away from the facility, when they gather on Sunday, when they gather on game day, and yesterday we had all 32 teams together, including the 14 playoff teams. That's going to be something to monitor. And, I know whenever I mention that, they're like, oh, you're rooting for it. No, people need to understand that this should be on the radar screen, that this is something that's out there that could undermine the upcoming Super Wild Card weekend, as the NFL is calling it, Chris.
Yeah, no, I mean, definitely, it's something. I mean, I'm watching that like I'm going to be watching film on the teams. I mean, that's just the honest. That's part of the competition this year. That is part of it, plain and simple. Yeah, you got to worry about game planning and getting ready for your other opponent. You got to worry about going home and game planning your life so you don't get COVID and ruin your damn football team. That's part of the year. Welcome to 2020 football. I mean, and now it's the playoffs. So it is going to be a big part of it. The Steelers have done a phenomenal job throughout. The Steelers needed that rest yesterday. That'll be interesting. Cleveland, though, again, they were up 24-9. The Steelers got into desperation mode. Claypool. Cleveland did control the game, even though they gave us a worry there at the end of the football game. And they did do that without Denzel Ward and a bunch of other good players on their football team in the secondary and all that. So I'm excited. I'm glad Cleveland got in. They deserve it. It's been tough for those.
And look, this isn't the Steelers team that blew out the Browns earlier this year.
No.
We don't know what to make of this Steelers team. They had one good half of football against the Colts in 6 weeks, where this team is really going to be next week. And from the Browns' perspective, they surely remember the last time they went to Pittsburgh and what happened to them. And if you can get off to a better start and not fall into that hole early, maybe you have a chance. I don't know. This is one that I'm going to spend the whole week thinking about, especially because my niece, who is a huge Browns fan, has already threatened to disown me if I pick the Steelers to win that game. And she's trying to get me to get her a ticket to the games. Means no fans. Nobody goes to the games in Pittsburgh. I can't get you a ticket. You can't get in.
These millennials, they don't want to listen to that crap. What?
But can you still get me a ticket?
Yeah, can you still get me?
There's no fans.
Yeah.
They have no fans in Pittsburgh.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.